What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode review of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Today is episode 3, titled The Power Broker. So, yes, and for this episode, we catched up with some old faces. We saw Zemo again, and Sharon Carter, and some other ones as well. So, yes, a very fun episode overall. This episode, I think, it's pretty good. I'm not sure if I would say strong, not as strong as the last two, but still pretty good. So, yes, but let's just get into the episode. So, of course, Bucky and Sam, they go to see Zemo and ask for his help, while Bucky then breaks him out of jail, much to the dismay of Sam, which I theorized, I thought that's what probably happened last time, so I thought, are they either going to break him out or he's going to escape? I had a bigger feeling they were probably going to break him out, and I was right about that, so he's now free and stuff. And it's interesting to see him interact with Sam and Bucky throughout this whole episode. Of course, they're fine when they don't like interacting with him. Like, it's very interesting, the dynamic, seeing them work with him, so it's very interesting. And also, it's interesting episode seeing Sharon Carter again. We haven't seen her since Civil War. We haven't seen either of them since Civil War. And Zemo is mostly the same. He hasn't really changed that much. Sharon has changed quite a lot now, of course, because the three of them, Sam, Bucky, and Zemo, to go to Madripoor, which is a fictional place in the Marvel comic universe. I think the Marvel comics has ties to some X-Men related things and mutants, so there might be a reference there, or it could just be a coincidence, who knows, but you never know, Marvel. So they go to Madripoor and to gain some information about the super soldier serum stuff, and of course we see Sharon Carter here in Madripoor as well. We learn she's been hiding out in here, laying low ever since Civil War. They don't say whether or not if she was one of the people. No, she was. I'm about to say, they never say if she was one of the people in the snap, but I remember in Endgame, actually, if you recall in Endgame, which I'm not sure if some of you do, but if you look closely in the scene in Endgame, when Tony first comes back to Earth during that film, when they show those screens of all the people that vanished during the snap, you see on the right-hand side, I think it was, of the screen, you'll see, or somewhere in that scene, you'll see on one of the images on the computer on that screen was actually Sharon Carter, so she was one of the people who vanished in the snap, so that's interesting. But Sharon's gone through quite a personality change and character change a lot. Of course, she's on the run now, of course. Whereas Sam and Bucky have been now kind of pardoned for their crimes. They've been forgiven for all the stuff that happened during Civil War and all Bucky's stuff. Because of course they had the Avengers backing them and such, so they had the ability to be forgiven. Sharon, on the other hand, did not have the Avengers, so she was kind of now forced on the run, cut communication with her family. And she's changed quite drastically now. She's a badass. She's a very ass-kicking badass now. She was a badass in the previous film. She kicked some butt, but now she's doing some I wouldn't say Daredevil, not like Daredevil fight sequences, but they're definitely she kicks some serious butt now. And with some pretty gruesome, not super gruesome, but definitely she was using one guy at one point as a shield for bullets and No, I'm sorry, I got that one mixed up. I'm about to say she threw a pipe into one guy's shoulder, but no, that was Bucky who did that, not her. Dang it. But so, I know that some pretty intense, awesome fight sequences in the episode as well. But on Sharon still, of course, she's now also very much against kind of thinks the whole superhero stuff is kind of nonsense and hypocrisy and just kind of bullcrap. Because it screwed her entire thing. She stole Cap's shield and Falcon's wings for Steve and Sam, which because of that now put her on the run. She did all that so that they could prove Bucky, who's also a guy who's wanted, would say he was not wanted. He was actually Zemo who did it all along. Who was another guy who's wanted. Just all this stuff. She did all these things in Civil War, and because of that, she's now paying for it. She's now on the run entirely. So that she kind of fed with the whole system. And even telling Sam and Bucky that how it's kind of bullcrap. I'm surprised you're not in on all this thing with you Bucky, because you're all in on this Star-Spangled bullcrap with Steve. You were his partner back in the day, and even Bucky's yeah, she's quite awful now. Which it's very interesting seeing the progressive change with her character, which I'm interested in seeing where that goes. Because Sharon was definitely, I never hated her. I like Sharon as a character, but she's definitely not had too much to do in the films really. So I'm excited to see what they do for her next, exactly going forward in the show. This is an interesting new approach they're taking with her, so it's exciting. But yeah, also with the rest of the plot, we learn more about the super soldier. So it is super soldier serum that is in the Flag Smasher. So we learn what happened with these guys. So they went to go talk with this one person that Zemo knew named Selby. I didn't catch the first name, but maybe it is her first name or it's her last name. I don't know. But she tells them information about a guy named Dr. Wilfred Nagel. And they basically find him in a shipping container yard in a lab. And we learn the whole truth behind what these Flag Smashers are, how their super soldier thing happened. So we learned that after the incident when Hydra tried creating more Winter Soldiers back in the day, and that didn't go well, so they just froze all their other Winter Soldiers that went awry, which we saw happen in Civil War, and Zemo killed them. But we learned at some point after that, Hydra hired Dr. Nigel, and I keep wanting to say Nigel. I'm not sure if it's Nigel or Nigel. I'm pretty sure it's just Nigel. So, yeah, it's Nigel, sorry. Whatever, just ignore what I'm saying at this point. But yeah, so they hired Dr. Nigel to help, refine and, make a super soldier serum that's actually, better and it works. And he does make it work. He says how he's the first person since Dr. Erskine from the first Avenger to actually make a formula that works. And of course, he made it and it works fine. But then, of course, he never got a chance to finish his work because the snap happened and he was gone for 5 years. So then he didn't get a chance to finish his work. But when he came back afterwards, the character known as the Power Broker funded his research to finish it, which he did, and he made over 20 vials of it, which then Carly Morgenthau and the Flag Smashers stole. And now Zemo's killed Nigel, so now there's only 20 vials of the Super Soldier Serum left. Well, maybe a little bit, because a couple of them have already taken it, so who knows how much of it is left still, but still probably a lot. So there's all that stuff. So that's all very interesting to learn that. So I guess it's possible, I guess it's as he puts it, that his Super Soldier formula is much different. It's not like the original one. It works like the original one, but not quite like the original one where it will completely enhance your entire body. With Steve, he was this very scrawny guy that became a muscular dude immediately. His is more sleek and stealthy, where it's when it gets put into you, it won't change physical appearance and stuff. It'll make you look more you wouldn't suspect you're a super soldier, but then of course you have enhanced strength and durability and all that stuff. So that's very interesting. And we also learn a bit more about Carly and some of their Flag Smashers, what they want to originally be. Carly wants to be a history teacher or a science teacher or stuff like that in school. Another one member of the Flag Smashers wanted to be part of the military at one point, but they just couldn't really get all that stuff because the whole snap thing happened, and when everyone came back 5 years later, they were focusing more on those people and rather them and such, which they hate. And so now they ended up going to Madripoor and found better work here, and ended up getting the super soldier stuff and such. So of course they're stealing more stuff for refugees at their camp, taking care of them. And we start to see Carly's a bit more aggressive than some of the other Flag Smashers. We see them take some of the supplies from this one facility, which they tell them how you've just been sitting on these things for 6 months, not doing anything with them. We're going to take them and actually use them to help people now. So she makes a good point there, but then she then sets a bomb off, killing all the innocent people in the building, which even one of her pals is there were people in there still, and she's this is the only language they understand, the destruction and the chaos. So it's very, you sort of see, I said this last week, how her methods are you understand why they're doing this, because they are Robin Hood people, they're trying to help out the people who are less fortunate right now, but her methods are going about it's not right, and they're very much not right. She's trying to help out people, but at the same time, she's a bit misguided and just causing, murdering people, innocent people, so that's very interesting. I'm not sure if that will cause us divide a bit with maybe the rest of the Flag Smashers, if they, I wonder how many other Flag Smashers agree with her methods to, kill these people, how many, we know some don't, this one guy, I forgot his name, I didn't catch it, we know he doesn't agree with it, he's no, that's ridiculous. So I'm wondering if that will cause a divide a bit, it might split them up a bit, who knows. So that's interesting. And other stuff also, we're not going to mention also Zemo in the episode, really interesting stuff they talk about him, stuff he talks about with the others, how his viewpoint on the whole superheroes, and we know he hates them of course, but his viewpoint on super soldiers, particularly Captain America, how he talks about how there's a problem. When I first met him, I realized there's a problem with the whole super soldier and Captain America thing. We put these kind of super soldiers on a pedestal, and we look up to them as icons and such, but we always forget about their flaws. We don't pay attention to that stuff, and suddenly at some point movements are being formed and wars are being fought over him, and he tells Bucky how you went through the same thing back in Germany all those years ago when he went to go fight the Red Skull, and he talks about how do we really want to live in a world run by the Red Skull again? No one wants that. So he's comparing Cap in a way to the Red Skull a bit, because which in ideology is not the same, but there's a bit of a point you are seeing there. Of course, Red Skull was an icon to people in Germany, and they looked up to him and fought in the war with him. So you do see the point he's making, like these, because Red Skull was a failed attempt at the Super Soldier Serum, which is why he looked like the Red Skull. So you do see his point, and he does make, of course, like I said, ideologies there between the two people are very different, but like there is a similarity there which I never really quite realized. I'm like, that's kind of a good point. That's like kind of true there a bit. Even in the episode when I forgot to mention this. My brain's scattered right now in this episode. Jeez, I forgot to mention Nagel. Like I'm just gonna say Wilford is easier to say. Wilford said how he also used a test subject to help create the Super Soldier Super Soldier formula, which of course was Isaiah Bradley. They used him and then they isolated. He took his blood samples and isolated the blood samples to try and get the Super Soldier formula just right. And makes Sam kind of think about how, you know, he calls him a test subject. Like they make it sound like Isaiah wasn't even a person that didn't even count. So like going more into that, like those like methods how they look at, you know, black people a bit as well. So all this stuff, and like Sam basically kind of realizing now how like all this stuff, like all these people that are just kind of getting looked over and like squashed over in history a bit for this shield, this symbol and stuff. And like he's starting to get to this point where he's like, maybe I shouldn't have put it in the museum. Maybe I should have destroyed it instead because it's causing more harm. He admits it has done a lot of good with it, but like it causes a lot more harm at this point now. But Bucky's telling him out like that shield means a lot to a lot of people, including me. So it's a symbol for good reasons for good people like me and stuff like. You know, he's saying it means a lot to different people, including himself. And so it's very interesting seeing all these like ideologies and like viewpoints. Like Sam's now starting to get on the whole thing. We know like he was very hesitant towards becoming Captain America for different reasons, and of course like it's a lot of responsibility, but also like when America didn't accept a black Captain America. But now he's more so like, is it even worth having their Captain America? Because there's all this chaos coming because of it. So like, it's very interesting. I do see his viewpoint on that, saying how like it's causing a lot of harm right now. But like, you know, it's because depending on who has it. That's why who has the shield. It depends on like it has to be the right person to take the mantle. Like, and John Walker is not the right person. We see earlier in the episode when they're trying to hunt down Carly. He's trying to interrogate this guy who of course was helping like shelter Carly and the Flag Smashers. At some point, the guy just spits in Walker's face because he was refused to give information, and Walker shoves him against the wall, saying, "You know who I am?" So like, he's clearly not the right guy. Like Sam would be. That's why Cap chose Sam. Like Steve chose Sam because like he'd be a good fit for that. But of course, Sam is like skeptical about that because of course, how would the world accept him? So like, you know, it's very interesting. It's very much how like I see Sam's point, but it's more so like it has to be the right person specifically. That's why it's a very important mantle. You have to be a specific person that really wield and carry that mantle. So, but yeah, it's very interesting seeing everyone's viewpoints, like how they're all kind of changing these days right now. Like how Sam's viewpoint on the whole mantle of Captain America now, and Sharon's viewpoint on superheroes now. Like she was all for them before, but now she's like, nah, screw them a bit. Like it's very interesting seeing all these like changes people are having towards superheroes these days. Now it's interesting. Of course, but the final thing of the episode ends where they go to, look at where they went to again. They went into Regia to find also. They were tracking down another person who might have a lead they could use. They found that they're dead, but they go there anyways. Like Zemo has a place there to stay there, so they go there. And Bucky says he'll catch up with them later because as he notices while they were walking, he finds a Kamoya bead from Wakanda on the ground. He keeps walking, he finds a couple more. And then, of course, he calls out the Wakandan that's been, like, stalking them a bit. And out comes Ayo, which is people, she's the Wakandan Dormala. What's wrong with my voice right now? She was a member of the Aha! Ayo was the member of the Dormalage who we saw. She was in Civil War and Black Panther and Infinity War. She's the one in Civil War that tells Black Widow, move or you'll be moved. So, like, she's that one. So, that's very, I was not expecting to see a member of Dormalage appear in this show, so it's very interesting. But yeah, she's after Zemo because like they heard instantly when he got broken out of jail. Because of course, as Sam points out early in the episode, you know they have not forgotten that he killed King T'Chaka, so they're not happy about it. So she's sent after him to go get him. So that's really cool. I can't wait to see. I'm pretty sure Bucky and her might fight, so I'm excited to see how that fight will go down. Should be fun. I'm wondering if other characters will show up then from Wakanda. Like, wonder if Okoye might show up too. Like, maybe, I'm not really sure, but like, it's a possibility, so yeah, but that's really exciting. Man, this whole review's been scattered, I think. I feel like I've been scattered the whole review. We're talking about this episode. The final finish I wanted to mention, I've written down, was so Zemo talked about how the state of Sokovia now, how it's been kind of cannibalized by its neighbors, so the neighboring country, and how it's now just kind of what was left of it. Like they were probably still trying to salvage whatever was left of it, trying to fix it, but now it's kind of just it's left in the rubble and it's just completely gone at this point. There is a memorial for it now in someone, which I think we saw that in the trailers at points. So all very interesting. So yeah, overall this episode, like I said, it's good. I'm not sure. I would say it's stronger. Like I think the last two are much stronger episodes. This one is still pretty good. I don't know. I want to say 8, but I'm not sure. It might be a 7 or 8 this episode. It's like a sitting in between that like system. I don't want to give like a 7 point something or 8 point system. Like I'm not really about. I don't really like. I just want to do a normal like straight answer like 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. And I don't really do like a 7.5 or 8.5 that kind of rating thing. Like I just want to be like a straight one. So it's like between 7 and 8 right now. That kind of thing. So yeah. But yeah, this whole review has been so scattered. Me talking about it. Oh my god. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying not to like. I don't want to waste too much time because like all my reviews for these Marvel shows go on for very long, and I want to try and like get through these episode reviews very quickly and easily. I'm trying not to go through the whole episode by detail now. So yeah, that's what I did with WandaVision. So yeah, I'm trying to go quicker through them. So hopefully they're quicker. But whatever. So yeah, this is a very scattered review. Jeez. But yeah, overall, I like the episode a lot. We're now halfway through this show. Because 6 episodes, we only have 3 left now. So I can't wait to see where it goes next. Like I can't wait to see and the Power Broker. I actually forgot to mention him entirely. Jeez, Power Broker is seems to be the main villain of the show. In the comics, he's the one who gave the powers. He actually enhanced John Walker and Laura Hoskins and gave them kind of super soldier abilities, like strength and durability. So I wonder if that's going to happen in this show. We know there must be a lot of super soldier formula left that the Flag Smashers still have, so potentially they might get some powers, who knows. But yeah, we have not met him yet. I'm excited to see who he is and stuff, so yeah. I mean, this whole episode was pretty good. Like I said, not as strong as the last 2, but I like how we're showing Sam's very he's very conflicted on the whole Captain America thing right now. Sharon's very much superheroes are nonsense these days. It's awesome seeing Zemo again, and we got to finally see him in his classic comic book mask. That's awesome. Not for too long. I'm not sure how many times he wears it in the show. Hopefully a few more times because it was cool seeing him wear the mask. But yeah, it was a fun episode overall. I liked it, and so yeah. Thank you all for watching. Tell me in the comments down below what did you think of this episode, and I'll see you guys all later next week for episode 4 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So yeah, I'll see you guys all later. Goodbye.